In Christ's kingdom, no bench warmers. We live in a world that celebrates participation, but often without commitment. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone feels accomplished, but heaven doesn't hand out trophies for showing up. It crowns those who finish the race. We know this in sports. You can't just sit on the bench and expect the scoreboard to change. You can't skip practice and expect to play well. You can't avoid sweat and still wear the crown. Yet in faith, we've grown comfortable sitting out the game. We call ourselves Christians, but many never step onto the field. They wear the jersey, sing the anthem, and watch others play. That's not how Jesus built his team. He didn't recruit spectators, he recruited servants. He didn't look for talent, he looked for obedience. He called fishermen. Men with calloused hands, not polished resumes. He called tax collectors and zealots, men the world had written off, and he gave them a single mission. Follow me. Following Christ was never meant to be a hobby. It was a calling, a commitment, a cost. He said, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me." That's not an invitation to sit comfortably. That's a call to die daily. The modern church has lost that urgency. We've traded the playbook for programs. We've replaced discipline with convenience. We've built stadiums instead of armies. We've mistaken attendance for obedience. But sitting in a pew doesn't make you a disciple any more than sitting in a garage makes you a car. In Christ's kingdom, there are no bench warmers. Every believer has a position. Every soul has a role. Every hand, every voice, every gift. All meant for the field, not for the sidelines. The tragedy of the Western church is not lack of resources, it's lack of resolve. We have Bibles in every format, sermons at every hour, music in every genre, and yet so little transformation. Because knowing the playbook isn't the same as running the play. Paul said it best. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. He didn't say stroll, he didn't say drift, he said run. The Christian life is not a spectator sport. It's a daily race against distraction, against self, against the enemy who wants you sitting down. And make no mistake, there is an opponent, a master strategist. He doesn't fear our songs, he fears our obedience. He doesn't tremble at full churches, he trembles at faithful Christians. When we stop playing, he wins. When we retreat to the bench, he gains ground. When we give in to comfort, he advances. But when believers take the field, when they pray with power, serve with humility, and love without condition, the gates of hell cannot prevail, because hell cannot defeat a church that refuses to sit down. You may say, but I'm not strong enough, not trained enough, not gifted enough. Then remember this. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. He trained shepherds to face giants. He taught fishermen to preach. He gave stutterers his words and turned doubters into apostles. All he asks is that you get off the bench. Discipleship is not about perfection. It's about direction, about moving, one obedient step at a time. You fall, you rise. You fail, you try again. Because grace isn't the excuse to quit. It's the power to keep going. Some will still cling to the idea of the get-out-of-hell-free card, as if one moment of faith cancels the need for a life of following. But Jesus never sold cheap grace. He offered costly grace, grace that demands response, grace that trains, grace that changes. True salvation always leads to transformation. Faith without fruit is fiction. So maybe the question isn't, am I saved? Maybe it's, am I serving? Am I growing? Am I following? Because the scoreboard of heaven doesn't count attendance, it counts obedience. One day the final whistle will blow, the lights will dim, the crowd will fall silent, and only one voice will matter. Well done, good and faithful servant. Not well attended, not well intentioned. Well done. That's the goal. That's the finish line. That's the victory. Until then, train hard, run your race, play your position, love your teammates, stay on the field. Because in Christ's kingdom, there are no bench warmers, only disciples who finish the game.